everybody, it's Countdown to Christmas episode 4, and I'm so excited. Okay, so I know I took last week off because I was having a lot of pain and stuff, and this week I'm still having some pain, but right now it's manageable, so I wanted to film a video for you guys. I'm going to take it a little bit easy and film, not really doing anything, just kind of sit down talking with you guys. I gesture so much when I talk. I don't know why. Anyhow, I wanted to do a review on the movie that I talked about in my last video, Dolly Parton's Coat of Many Colors. And I know I said I'm really bad at movie reviews because I'm afraid to say too much, yet in being afraid to say too much, I usually say too little, and that doesn't really make people want to watch it. But I wanted to try, and I will, if you want to watch it, it's available on Hulu and the NBC website for the next 21-ish days, I think, 21, 23, something like that, days, and I highly recommend it. So let's get into the review. First of all, I want to say how amazed I am. Dolly herself handpicked the cast members to play her brothers and sisters, and her mom and dad, and her grandpa, and like all the major characters, and probably even some of, most likely all the characters except for like the extras and stuff in the church and things like that. But who knows, she might even pick them too. I don't know. But anyway, she handpicked 99.9% of the cast, and I am just amazed at how much the cast family of children look like the actual Parton family of children. I will insert a picture of the cast family right in here. I didn't really notice it, but when I looked at the two pictures, I mean, I knew they were very similar, but when I looked at the two pictures, I was floored. And it amazed me at how much detail was put into Dolly. Really tried to match her brothers and sisters' features and everything like that. And I know in autobiographical type movies they try to match the characters to who they're portraying, but let's face it, you can only do so much. And this is honestly the closest I've ever seen somebody come, and I was very impressed. Okay. A little background history of the movie, or a little background history on Dolly, in case you don't know what I'm talking about, which I'm sure everybody does, but just in case. The movie itself centers around a time in Dolly's life when she was 9 years old, which means at this time there was 8 children, including Dolly, and it was based in 1955. Dolly was born in 1946, and it's around the time that her mother made her a patchwork coat of many colors, and it's after her song Coat of Many Colors. If you've never heard the song, I'll link it down below. It's amazing. It's an autobiographical song about the time in her life when her mother made her the coat, and how she didn't have one, and all they had was rags to make it out of, and how her mom made her feel special about this coat by telling her about the story of Joseph in the Bible, and how he too had a coat of many colors, and how Joseph was royal, and she told her this story to make her feel proud of it. But then in the song as well as in the movie, she's so excited to wear the coat, you know, she wears it to school, and she's thinking, oh my goodness, all the kids are gonna love this, I'm royal like Joseph, you know, she's not really cocky, she's just happy about it, you know. And then all the kids wind up hating it and teasing her. Oh, it's just a bunch of rags, blah, 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 blah. You know, you're dirt poor like us, you're no good, you're this, you're that. And it really crushes her. And it's really a song, the song itself is really a good song about anti-bullying, and I highly recommend it. So, like I said, I'll link it down below. So now onto the movie. There is a backstory, at least from the movie perspective. There is a backstory behind the coat that pretty much nobody knew, I don't think. I don't even think it was in her book. I read her book, and I don't even think this particular backstory behind the coat was really there. See, because there were so many children in the Pardon family, each time Mama had a baby, it was somebody else's turn to sort of not really raise the baby, but help with the baby, you know, like feeding and changing and, you know, playing with the baby. Well, not that Mom wouldn't do anything, don't get the wrong impression, but, you know, they were there to help. It was like their baby, you know, kind of like a live baby doll, you know? And it was Dolly's turn for this next baby. And Dolly's so excited, can't wait for the baby to be born, and the baby dies. It was born too early. It was supposed to be born in the fall. Probably, I would guess around October-ish, judging by what they said in the movie. But he was, because they said after school started, school used to start in September. And so my guess, and they said shortly after school started he was supposed to be born. So my guess is probably October. But he was actually born on July 6th of 1955. He was born like probably 4 months early, and of course that's too early anyway, much less back in 1955 when there was no way to do medical intervention to save the baby's life if possible. And Dolly was just heartbroken, and you know, this is my baby, you know, this is my baby, I was supposed to help take care of it, and she's crushed. And her mother, of course, is crushed, because losing a child, no matter if it's your first, your fifth, your sixth, your 10th, it doesn't matter. Losing a child is terrible, and her mom is just absolutely devastated. And she, as well as Dolly, goes into a depression, and her dad is actually the one that helps Mom get out of the depression and saying, look, we have 8 kids to raise here, you know, I can't do this without you, you know, they need you and I need you. Well, before the baby died, she had been making a blanket, a patchwork type blanket for the baby, a beautiful blanket, but when the baby died, obviously there was no need for the blanket. So she started tearing down the blanket to make a coat for Dolly, because Dolly didn't have a coat and desperately needed one. And Dolly was grieving and she was grieving, so she turned the blanket, the patchwork blanket, into a patchwork coat. And see, as far as I know, as far as I remember, that's not in the book at all. So that's just kind of a little backstory of the movie. I don't want to go tell everything. See, this is why it's hard for me to do reviews, because I want to tell everything, but I can't, because then it'll ruin it for somebody that wants to watch it. So, I've already watched it like 4 times, and it aired December 10th, and it's like December 14th, 15th when you watch this. I'll probably watch it again tomorrow. But I probably already watched it like 4 or 5 times, and it still does not get old. I mean, it is amazing. Excuse me. It is amazing, and basically that's a little synopsis of the movie. And Mom and Dad have a... I'm sorry for the dogs barking in the background. It's my brother's dog. Basically, Mom and Dad in the movie, you know, emotions are high because of the baby's death, and Dad blames himself in a way that I won't go into complete detail. And they're not living as man and wife. Let's say that. And he blames himself, and he wants to stay away from her, and she doesn't understand why, and it's really heart-wrenching to see them go through this, and inevitably they wind up getting into this big fight. Dolly's mom was no pushover, I can guarantee you that. Abby Lee was her name. Abby Lee Pardon was no pushover, and there's, I have a lot of favorite funny scenes, and the one in particular I'm thinking of right now was, they get into a fight in the movie. I had to turn off the camera for a second. I'm not sure where I left off. I think I was talking about when her parents got into a fight. But anyway, they get into a big fight because he cusses the storekeeper out for making some remarks. Arya, please don't knock over my tripod. Mom gets mad because she's a very devout religious Christian. She's like, you didn't have to cuss them, and you know, and he said, well, I only told the truth. They're a bunch of hypocrites and all this. And he's not, he believes in God, but he's not a Christian at this point in his life. And they get into a big fight, and he gets out of the truck, and he's stomping around, you know, he's mad. He's kicking the dirt, he's kicking the truck, He's just blowing off steam. He's really, really, really mad. Okay, so he gets out of the truck and he's really mad. He's just blowing off steam and anger and bitterness and sadness, and he's kicking the dirt and he kicks the truck, and Abby Lee, Dolly's mom, is really mad herself at him for remarks he made. And she looks at him and she can't drive. She looks at him and says, "Are you gonna drive or are you gonna dance all night?" And that was hilarious. I mean, I can't do it the way she did, but it was hilarious. And he says something like, "Well, I guess you're stuck because you can't drive and you don't know how to start the truck." And she slides over into the driver's seat and she says, "No, but I'm fixing to finish it. I don't know how to start it, but I'm fixing to finish it." So she gets in the truck and she drives off, and not doing a very good job at it. But she gets in the truck and she drives off, and she's, you know, really upset at what he said. And she gets home and the kids, you know, never seen her drive because she can't drive. And all the kids are there and they're like, "Where's Daddy? Where's Daddy? Is he okay? Is he okay? Are you okay?" And she's like, "Just give me a minute, just let me breathe." And so what happened? She said, "I was alright till my temper wore off, and then when my temper wore off, I was just praying for heaven or home, whichever came first, just make it quick." And that's one of my favorite funny parts. There's more to it, and trust me, it's a lot more funny than what I could explain, but like I said, I don't want to give it away. And then there was another part at the very beginning of the movie. What the? Alright, hold on. Alright, now this next funny part my niece wants to tell you, but I have to tell you a little bit of background on where it's coming from so that why you know it's so funny. Like I said, Dolly grew up in a very religious home, and she wasn't, none of them for that matter, was allowed to wear makeup. They thought it was evil. We're talking about 1955 here, so go figure. And Dolly has some paints. I won't tell you where she got them from because it'll spoil part of the movie. But she has some paints and she's in the barn. She's painted herself up, and her family accidentally leaves her and when they're going to church. And her grandpa is the preacher. And she walks in the church. She has a solo in the church. She walks in the church and they're singing a hymn. Okay, she walks in church. Alright, quit. Come here. She walks in the church and they're singing a hymn. And she gets up there and, like, her grandpa's face is like, what the, like, he just doesn't, where did this come from? She has painted her face, used red paint for lipstick, pink paint for blush, and black and blue paint for, like, eyeshadow, mascara, and creative, but she looked like a clown, and her mom is so mad at her, and she's, you know, chewing her out and everything, and her grandpa's, this is what her grandpa says. Her grandpa comes out of the church after the service is over, and he says,
"What are y'all teaching these children?" And her dad goes, well, preacher, we're teaching them to love Jesus the best they can." He turns and looks at Dolly and goes, "Dolly, don't you ever want to get to heaven?" Dolly looks at him and goes, "Well, of course I do, but do I have to look like hell to get there?"
Okay, it may not seem so funny to y'all, but I swear if y'all seen this movie, you would die.